magical being that possesses both ends of the spectrum into one magical body. Hi! Okay, so there's so much going on, both in the internet world and in the real world right now. So I just think we just all need to collectively take a deep breath in. Out. Shut up. Thank you. So for today's video, I'm not in my fancy studio setup, I'm just in my bedroom, but I'm going to try to be as informative and entertaining as possible as I can be. So let's just start with today's topic. Okay, so obviously if you can tell, I was born male, September 25th, 1999. I do present myself very androgynous most of the times, but we'll get into that later. Before I go into my whole topic today we're going to be talking about gender expression, gender identity, anything about gender. If you're questioning, if you just want to get to know more about people like me, thank you so much for watching this video. I'm just going to talk briefly about my pre-coming out life. All my life I've been so feminine. Okay, since the day I was born, I knew I was just into feminine things, or what our world considers to be feminine. I was always wanting to wear my sister's Disney princess heels. I was always wanting to play with her dolls. I was just not with it, with what the guys or the boys were supposed to like, if you know what I mean, like girl. So I first came out as gay at the age of 14 when I was in 8th grade. I basically just told my parents right before high school that I was gay and that I hadn't attracted to men. I love men, but men are annoying. You know what I mean? Sorry. And from the moment I came out, my parents were just generally really accepting. I was so lucky to have just such an amazing family support system. Everyone in my family was so supportive. Even my 90-year-old great-grandmother and my 96-year-old great-grandfather, still both alive today, still so supportive as ever. I literally go to their house wearing makeup sometimes. Like, that's how lucky I am. I thank the higher powers every single day. Right after I came out, I was just like, oh my god, really happy. You know what I mean? Like, I was just living my life. I was just a gay boy. You know what I mean? Like, I was like, yes, mama, yes. Annoying, sorry. But there was a period of time where I kind of just fell short with my identity again. I kind of just felt like I was going back in the closet, which is a weird feeling because I was really just kind of falling short with my identity again. I really was just kind of questioning. Yeah, I was literally in a state of questioning. The area that this was involving was my gender. Every time I would hear my parents say, oh, my son, my son, my son, my son, there was a part of me that felt that that was right, but there was also a part of me that didn't like them calling me their son. It really just is a personal feeling. I can't describe to you what that feels like, but it's just something in my soul. Every energy of my being just like told me that it was almost right, but wasn't at the same time. I started my little state of self-exploration. I think it is very important that if you do have the safe space and the luxury of having a safe space to do so, to experiment with yourself if you were ever in a state of questioning. That for me was playing around with makeup, playing around with things that our society generally considered as feminine, wearing feminine girl clothes, makeup, clothes, the way I presented myself in front of others, the way I spoke, the way I carried myself. I really just kind of started experimenting in everything in my life. I started wearing heels. Girl, I was going all out. That is the way that I felt the most happiest. This also started a point in my life where I began to think that I would go forward medical transition to a woman. With the experimentation and self-exploration, I was looking up and heavily researching a lot of amazing and super brave trans YouTubers online, people that I followed on social media. I really idolized them in a way because these beautiful people were just living themselves as how they were meant to be. So I kind of felt like, okay, am I going to transition? Will I be undergoing a medical transition? Is that what I need? Is that the missing link as to why I am feeling I don't know myself again? But a part of me didn't want to lose my masculine side or the boy side of Brendan. I don't know how to call that separate energy of myself, so I'm just gonna be interchanging those two phrases. I apologize if they're not correct. Again, I'm learning every single day, just like you. So again, I took a step back and did more researching because I almost felt like I found something closer to what I felt, but at the same time, I wasn't there yet. So, of course, more researching, more fun little YouTubing where I was just so inspired by a lot of amazing trans people here online. I encountered the term gender fluid, non-binary, gender non-conforming, and instantly when I looked at the definition for the word gender non-conforming, I literally, like, my whole body, like, tingled. It was like when I was reading this definition of what this phrase was, I felt like everything in my life clicked. I don't really know how to put it into words because I can't really describe the exact feeling I felt other than pure bliss. Almost like a connection, like I found my soulmate, but my soulmate was myself. I just found the thing in my life that was me. Like I could finally put it into words because I think it's so frustrating. We know who we are, but we don't know how to say that. And I think our silly human brains love to label things. We find safety in labels when we can categorize something. I'm a boy, I'm a girl, I'm straight, I'm gay. Those are very concrete things, but for me, I never really had something like that in my life because I felt like a boy and then I felt like a girl and I knew I was both in one, but I'm like, okay, what is this? Like, who am I? A lot of people would think that, oh, well, he's just confused. He's just confused. He doesn't know. He has to pick one, male or female. Girl, no. This was something that I have known all of my life. It's just I didn't know how to put it into words. Like before I even knew what the word gay was, I knew I liked boys. Yes, I had crushes in kindergarten. It is what it is, sweetie. Now, what I also learned in my self-exploration of my gender identity is that gender is a beautiful spectrum. A male, female, and then the magical space in between where people like me fall. And then there are also some people that just don't prefer to be addressed as a certain gender at all. Now, this can be very confusing at first, and I totally understand because we're taught at such a young age that gender is a very binary thing. Binary meaning two, male, female. There's nothing more than that, nothing in between that, nothing. A lot of people get the terms gender and sex confused. Sex meaning what we were assigned with at birth, and gender identity is all in the head. You know, what we feel, what we energetically on a soul level feel we identify with. And for me personally, I am like the split middle, possessing both male and female qualities into one body. And also, I think a common thing that people get confused is that this is all new. Like, we're just making up these words. I haven't done the research myself to an extent, but I know historically in a bunch of ancient cultures, there were actually people celebrated, especially within the indigenous culture, people being celebrated as two-spirited. I didn't know at first that gender fluid, gender non-conforming were technically part of the transgender community. I learned that the word transgender is basically an umbrella term that encompasses all people whose gender identity differs from the sex that they were assigned to at birth. Now, a lot of cisgender people or people who are not transgender get confused with how they should address people like me who are very non-conforming, fluid in their gender identity. My advice is to really ask an individual what their pronouns are. Now, a lot of people think that this is insulting in a way or degrading, and it really isn't if you come at it from an educational standpoint, meaning that you just want to learn how to address a certain person so that you can respect them more. Me personally, by the way, I am fine with he, him, his, she, her, hers. I am just really kind of okay with everything, honestly. Whatever you see me as, I will encompass that energy, mama, because they both are true for me. So yes, my gender identity is very non-conforming. I really love to communicate with you guys if you have any questions revolving gender identity. Like I said, we are all students, we are all learning. I am learning every single day. If I somehow said something that was a little bit, that was almost correct, Brendan, please feel free to let me know in the comment section down below. I am always coming from a good place, and I really just want to get to know and learn about different people and how they identify as well. I believe that in our world today, it is the lack of knowledge, misunderstanding, and ignorance that leads to all of the hate often focused towards the trans community. If only the hateful people in our world took the time to actually pull back the covers and learn more in hopes of understanding what has always been here since the beginning of time, our world would be such a more loving place, free of hatred. I really hope I helped you learn something new, inspired you in a way if you could relate to my story. Never stop learning, children, and I really respect you so much if you watched this video all the way through and took your time to open your heart into hearing my story. I would like to hear some of your stories if you relate in any way possible. Thank you so much for all of your never-ending support. It really means the world to me, and I just want to let you know that I love you so much. Thank you so much for joining me today on today's exciting topic of gender, the magical topic of the gender spectrum. Pride Month is soon. Gays are taking over. Sorry, I just had to do a little heel clap. How can I not clap these beauties? Oh my God, I'm tired.
Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. We hope that you found this information to be informative and helpful. If you would like to provide any feedback that will help us to improve it in the future, we would love to hear from you. Till then, take care and be proud to be a transgender.